think when it's all said and done,
is now 6:05 p.m. Wednesday, February 22nd, 2023. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance using the flag in the front of the room.
States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Vice Mayor, Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins,
Here.
Mayor Jacobs,
Nope, there it is. There we go.
and Vice Mayor DeVille will not be able to attend the meeting today.
Okay. All right, additions, deletions, or withdrawals to the agenda. Marlon, I have to ask, did you get all of these on here, or do I have to put them as non-agenda items?
They're non-agenda items.
All right, I gotta add 4 things as non-agenda items. This will be, or 4 different items. It'll be CAS proposal number 4406, and let's put this on as 14.5. 4406. Then they're all the same, huh? Okay, on the top, got it. 14.5 will be inflow, infiltration location and repair project. 14.6.
Inflow and infiltration.
Is that what I said? What did I say?
I don't know what you said, but I think it was an infiltration.
Was it close enough? All right, we're good. 14.6 will be lift station 19 repair. What's it? 14.7 will be lift station number 14. And we'll do 14.8 is lift station 17. All right. Any more you have, Dad? All right. This is not a voting meeting, so accept the agenda as proposed.
Yes.
All right, agenda is accepted. 5 presentations. This will be 5.1 donation of vest. Tracy Schofield. All right, hey, I got it right. That's a way to start, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. How are you today?
Good. Thank you for having us. My name is Tracy Schofield. I'm with the Police and Kids Foundation. We're from Pinellas Park, so it's a little, we're using that name a little bit.
Close.
Which is over in Tampa Bay, St. Pete, Clearwater area. So we did make a drive over here tonight to see you guys. The reason why we did that is I had met your police chief, Chief Howard, during the summertime at the police chiefs conference. You guys were in the beginning stages of starting your agency, and he had requested some assistance on some equipment through the Police and Kids Foundation. We do a grant program for smaller law enforcement agencies and fire departments here in the state of Florida. Before I get too far into that, we'll just talk a little bit real quick about the Police and Kids Foundation. So we've been around since 2011. We're a nonprofit 501c3, and we really do 3 things for the state of Florida. And we have the fallen officer plate for the state of Florida, and I gave each of you a handout. So if you've ever seen this plate from the state of Florida, this is our specialty plate. And what that plate does for us, or allows us to do, is 3 things. One and foremost, probably the most important thing for us when it happens, is helping the families of fallen first responders. Good or bad, unfortunate as it was, Before we came here tonight, we were at Pembroke Pines Police Department, meeting with their staff. We provided their fallen officer's family with $5,000 tonight to try to help them the best we can. We do that every time a fallen first responder in the state of Florida loses their life in the line of duty. That includes firefighters, police officers, paramedics. If they're a first responder and they pass in the line of duty in Florida, we pay out to the family. We also, as why we're here tonight, we support smaller agencies with equipment and training, and we're the Police and Kids Foundation, so the children's side of it is anything to do with kids. Now, we focus mainly in Tampa Bay for the kids because obviously there's so many children in Florida. It'd be very difficult for us to support all the kids in Florida. Tampa Bay keeps us very busy, as you can imagine. But why we're here tonight is when I met the chief, he had asked for some equipment, and specifically he asked for 2 ballistic shields. I was a police officer for 29 years, local law enforcement in my city, and having that type of equipment when you do have to make an entry into a building or on some type of an active shooter type situation is invaluable if you're the police officer. And we have the vest on, and we might have a helmet and all these other cool things, but having that ballistic shield in front of you protects you from those rounds coming at you. It is a big deal. And from speaking with the major tonight, it's my understanding that your officers have deployed those shields on several occasions. Luckily, not had to use them actually, but had them ready and had them to protect them in case something bad happened. So obviously I never want to come back to your city to pay out to one of your officers because they've lost their lives in the line of duty. And hopefully the ballistic shields will help protect your officers and do that. It's our honor to do that. We appreciate you letting us come over here and do it. And I'm happy to answer any questions if you have about the police and kids or anything else.
Well,
I think it's a great cause, and we really appreciate the donation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And I forgot to introduce my beautiful wife. This is my wife, Jillian.
can you wait till you're acknowledged? Clerk Commissioner,
Yes.
can you wait for acknowledgement before you speak?
Oh, sure.
Thank you. Thank you. As a former state trooper myself, I used to carry one in my trunk, and I know the expense that goes with it. Don't take this personally. I hope we never see you again, too.
I understand.
But I greatly appreciate what you've done for our department. This has been a huge undertaking, politically and in every which way to make this happen. Every little donation helps, and we really do appreciate your cause. Out of curiosity, how many plates have you guys got out so far?
We've had our plates out since 2016. Currently, right now, we're just under 15,000 in the state.
Awesome.
That ranks us for you guys to drive around Florida long enough. There's 150 specialty plates from dolphins and turtles and everything else. So we're number 41 in the state. So it puts us a little bit above half, which is a safe place because the state
Nice.
has implemented a process where they're going to start cutting off the low-performing plates. They'd like to get it to 135, which is still an incredible amount. As a former police officer, trying to remember all those plates was difficult at times.
If it says Florida on it, there you go.
Yeah, that was so, but we're doing well. It's our plate is target specific to some extent. It's obviously first responder, law enforcement type of a plate, so we understand that we're never going to be the number 1 plate in Florida, but we're a small charity with big dreams. We like to help where we can. For our city, we just gave our city 2 weeks ago $100,000 for their new Children's Agricultural Center. We built a teen park inside the city of Largo's city, their big central park. So we're trying to do some legacy projects as well for the children in Tampa Bay. But being a former police officer, it's always near and dear to my heart to protect my guys and girls. So anything I can do to do that, I appreciate you letting us do.
I was up in Largo recently, so but I want to tell you, last week up in Tallahassee, I was able to stand up and support House Bill 101 that extended the homestead exemption for fallen first responders to federal, and that was our actual state representative that brought that forward. And so it includes all the federal first responders as well into that.
And we
So that was such a great thing.
Anybody that's law enforcement or first responder. It doesn't matter if they're federal, state, tribal. We've had a tribal police officer die last year or the year before down here and around the Keys. It doesn't matter if they're representing the state of Florida, even if they might be a federal officer assigned out of Washington. If they live and work here in our state, then we support them. So again, we appreciate everything you do for us, and Thank you for your service and allowing us to be here tonight.
And unfortunately, I know you'll have to go to places, but we just hope it's not here. And I hope as few as possible. So
Me too.
thank you for for your time and your donation. We greatly appreciate
For
it.
having
Yes,
us.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a safe drive back. We done it many, many, many times. You guys have a wonderful day. Thank you. Donations vests. Committee reports of committees and city staff. Chief Kane, how you doing? Fire Department.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Clerk Commissioner, and staff. Battalion Chief Michael Kane, Broward Sheriff's Office, Fire Rescue, presenting statistics for the month of January 2023. In the town, for January, we ran 10 fires, 36 vehicle accidents, 6 fire alarms, 128 medical calls for service, and 8 service calls for a total of 188. I think it's almost exactly what it was last month.
Yeah, like, I think you're copying this one.
Like 200 here.
Let's keep it below 200, all right?
Agreed. That's all I have for a presentation this evening, unless you have something for me.
No, April 15th 's coming up. Town gets a lot smaller then, so. But yeah, thanks for the great work. And this looks just like last month. I mean,
It's pretty cool.
it's very consistent,
It
so
is. That's the one thing about the town is call volume is consistent.
that's great. You have anything?
No, I'm good.
All right.
Thank
Have
you.
a good evening, gentlemen.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief King. Oh, by the way, I did forward you an email. I don't know if you got it. I did not. Okay, I'll check again to make sure it gets to you. 7, Building Department, Official Nunez. 7.1, January 2023 monthly report.
Thank you, Mayor, Clerk Commissioner, staff. Miguel Nunez, Building Official. Right now, I'm presenting the monthly status report. This is for January 2023. In summary, as we started 2023 calendar year and the second quarter of the fiscal year 2022-2023, I would like to reinforce the efforts of the excellence and customer service that the building department staff offers to our external and internal customers. In addition, I would like to note the prompt review service, which at the most is taking 4 business days. That's what plan review process, 4 business days, less than a week. In contrary to other municipalities, which are taking longer, obviously, if the contractor or the applicant respond to any comments, we will be acting faster. Furthermore, the amnesty program is progressing as designed by the Town Commission, with the added benefit that additional customers are joining the program based on the last time addition that we have till June 30. And kudos to the Commission, especially for you, Mayor Jacobs, for being the supporter since day number 1 on this particular amnesty, and obviously to Vice Mayor Duville and now Clerk Commissioner for their support on this program. By the numbers, as per we have several categories up and down during typical. It fluctuates during the previous one month to the other. But the most important ones you have in there, that from the current month, we have 503 inspections. Out of those 503 inspections, we have 251 structural. Don't ask me how I do that. Mechanical 94, electrical 70, plumbing 88, for a total of 503. In addition to that, we have an additional 1 applicant for the amnesty program, and we are ready to release 2 payments for 2 additional candidates already complete to the program. We're going to submit it to the finance director. In regards to we closed 55 permits, plan reviews completed 287, and assigned 273. That means we've been very, very busy, especially for a 4-week results. That is commendable to our staff. In addition to revenue on that part, on the month of January, we collected 75,722. For whatever reason, did not look at my chart. I guess my chart did not into that, and that give you the relationship between budget and revenue for our building department. In regards to the notable projects, we are still working on building 2 and 3. Just to let you know, as of last month, I told you that we're putting a slab, right? This week we pour the first 14 panels for the tilt wall. Eventually, the promoters of this particular project and the developers are trying to create what is called a lift-up party, which they intend to invite some city staff and for the lift-up panels, so you can see the process. And please do not go close to the panels being lifted up. It's very unsafe. That's difficult to see, especially if you are under. Now, on regards to Seneca Town Center, we are ready to issue the Wawa building and the hospital. They're ready to be issued. They're working with our building manager, Lucy, for that particular project, almost to be issued. And the storage building, we are in conversation because they're in the final, according to their opinion, the final plan review, and the whole process for a full storage building is taking no more than 3 weeks. So that's basically, obviously takes a little bit longer because of what they were waiting, but total 3 weeks, which is very, very notable. We received also the townhomes, 47 townhomes review. It is in my queue to be reviewed. Hopefully this will be the last one. We're just waiting for Broward County building those townhomes. O'Reilly's, what can I tell you? You can see it in Highlander Beach Boulevard. Going. Right now, engineering has an inspection tomorrow, and that will be moving fast. Same thing as car wash. They're moving faster in that, and we're just waiting for all the buildings to come. In addition, obviously, we have and all that we fill in the blanks, and we provide in a daily basis. One thing that you don't have here, which I'd like to give you an update, the police department construction. Right now, we have the plumbing underground was issued already, inspection. They're ready to start working on framing. The front walls are erected. We're just waiting for an inspection and some details. But right now, we are moving at a fast speed, and I think we're gonna beat not only the budget, we're gonna beat also the schedule. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer them.
I do.
Yes, sir.
Number 4, Magnolia Homes.
Yes, sir.
Wasn't that being changed to 48?
Well, they are right now. It's being approved for 47 because of the density. There was some issue before that it was 47.40 the density. They decided to continue with the 47.
Okay.
Just to not delay the project, but they're gonna be looking for a variance to build the last 48. So I feel confident that eventually it's gonna be 48 townhomes.
Okay.
I just don't want it to put the cart before the horse.
Okay.
Actually, after the horse. So.
After the horse.
Yeah.
All right. And one other question: impact fees for the police department. Did you make any progress with that?
We started looking into that for the police department. We're gonna have to get a study in order to make sure that's also have samples from other municipalities, so that way we know exactly what we embark into, especially because of the new construction. But we are working on that already.
Okay. Perfect.
Mayor, if you want, we can, the people that are doing the fire fee, they also do impact fees. We can get a proposal from them, at least talk to them about it.
Okay. Then you okay with direction?
Yes.
Go ahead. What direction on that? All right. I don't have any more questions. You?
No, I don't have any. Thank you.
All right. Unsafe structure. 7.2 unsafe structure demolition ranking for 1708 Southwest 31st Avenue.
Yes, Mayor or Commissioner Miguel Nunez, building official. At this point in time, I would like to request your acceptance, obviously, for the ranking that we have for the demolition and disposal services for unsafe structures at 1708 Southwest 31st Avenue, Pembroke Park, Florida. Probably the address doesn't give you anything, but if you go by name, A and B Recycling, it will tell you exactly what it is. You might have photos associated in your package of what it is the last time that we have. Just to give you a point of information, this particular unsafe structures, after it was issued the board order by the Broward County, and we were ready to execute the board order via the request, the procurement process for the demolition services. We received an injunction in the court system, on the circuit court, by the property owner, requesting that we, alleging many other things, that we were impartial and so on like that. Obviously, that was by our professional action of our town attorney. It was actually debunked, and we processed the facts of and the merits of the case. We presented what it was down there at the original, what it was in the process, and then the last day, what is still in that particular location, and the judge obviously denied the motion. For among other things, I'm not an attorney, so I cannot say why or those legality things, but it was denied the motion, so that's the reason why I'm continuing with these particular bidders. Out of 9 bidders that went over there, when the ITB was issued, 2 provided numbers. One of them was Paragon Construction Unlimited, and the total was $59,560. And by the law of what we do here, is the lowest bidder for that. And basically, we request for you to approve Paragon Construction Unlimited Inc. to be the contractor, that we select the contractor, and we can go into contract so we can comply the unsafe structure.
59,560.
59,560.
Okay.
That includes demolition, removal of everything, actually put sod in the place.
Okay.
Not if it's a brownfield, we're not cleaning onto that, just to make it nice and clean.
Okay.
If it's a brownfield, that'll be something that can
Something
be
we got to address down the road.
Yeah.
Okay. You have any questions?
You explained this to me once before, but let me refresh my memory. How do we get our money back?
Our money back is we lien the property, and the proceeds of if the property owner does not pay the property as a high priority lien in accordance to Chapter 116 of the Florida Building Code, then we're gonna have via our attorneys, of course, create a foreclosure process and sell the property, and the proceeds come back to us.
Yep. Great. Thank you.
All right. We'll move this to consent. Do you have any questions?
Go ahead, fine. Thank you.
Questions? Ashant? Questions? All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Code Compliance Chief, Code Compliance Officer Ramirez, 8.1 Code Compliance Report, January 2023.
Good evening, Mayor, Clerk Commissioner, Chief Code Compliance Officer Jocelyn Ramirez, reporting code compliance for the month of January 2023. The numbers are as follow. We have 3 liens, 2 orders of dismissal, 18 notice of violations, 49 notice of hearings, 12 final orders, 4 amended final orders, 13 affidavit of non-compliance, 30 affidavit of compliance, and 4 order of abatements. For special magistrate, we did execute the hearing on January 25th, 2023. We had 18 findings of facts, 7 impositions of liens, 4 reductions of fines, 5 extensions granted, and 2 dismissals. Those 2 dismissals were 2 cases that attorney Brian Sherman was working on. So the judge gave us the okay to go ahead and dismiss them. So that way the court will relinquish the cases and just close them out.
Okay.
I just got to say that attorney Brian Sherman has the best interest in the town, and he's always like updating us, what can or cannot be done. So far it's been a good relationship with code, and we're seeing great results.
Great.
We also executed the February 15, 2023 hearing. And next I have a few before and after photos of things that were in compliance in January. We had a vehicle in the alley that was on the alley on Carolina Street and South Park Road. So I went ahead and towed that vehicle. We gave them 5 days. It was not removed. It's not a stolen vehicle, but we had to impound it. The next property is 2301 John P. Lyons Lane. As you can see that there was a lot of outdoor storage, junk vehicles. The roof, the awnings were dirty. The building is dirty. The after photo, you can see that they painted the building. They removed the majority of the outdoor storage, with the ones that can't be out. The removal of junk vehicles. They put new sod in the swales, and they redid the whole parking lot with permits. The next building is La Estancia Townhomes. It needed maintenance. You can see that the parking lot needs maintenance, the building needs maintenance. The after photos, you can see that they painted the building. It actually looks like a brand new community.
It does.
And they redid the parking lot with permits.
Nice.
The next building is on 4350 West Honda Beach Boulevard. The parking lot needed maintenance, so the after photo shows the blacktop and striping done. And that's it for March. Any questions for me?
Questions?
No, doing a great job. Makes a huge difference in town.
You see what your job does, it cleans up the community.
Thanks.
These look great. I mean, the apartment complex looks like brand new again.
Yeah, it does.
That's amazing. See, little things. Thank you. All right. Finance Department, Finance Director Brown, 9.1 Revenue and Expenditures Report.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Clerk Commissioner. Hope everyone's having a great day. Here in front of you, I have about 4 pages. 4 pages, but the pictures take up the bulk, and I'll just dive in right now. So starting with the general fund revenues, so far we've collected $7.9 million. That is 58%. Right now, we're about 38% throughout the year. So considering that we're 21% over that threshold, that's a really good sign. Ad valorem taxes are on target at 88%. Other taxes are in at 29%. Licenses and permits are in at 27%. Intergovernmental revenues are in at 4%. Charges for services are in at 36%. And fines and forfeitures, those collections are at 4%. Once again, we're in at 7.9, which represents 58% of our projected revenue. Really good sign. Moving forward, the general fund expenditures. Right now, we have used $44.9 million, which represents 36% of the budget. The revenues are over expenditures by $2.9 million, which is a very healthy sign that revenues are coming in as anticipated. To deeper dive into the expenses, the legal expenses are above 40%. And that's mostly because of the payout of the previous town manager. I think that's very important to note.
Town attorney.
Town attorney, I'm sorry.
I got you. Don't worry. I won't put your job on the line on this one.
Forgot to tell you.
Excuse me, I'm sorry about that.
Where you work, sir?
Don't worry, I got you.
Thank you. All right, police expenses are above 40%. And this is mostly due to the purchase of vehicles and some capital equipment. As the year goes on, you'll see that will start to flatten out. Planning expenses are only at 13%, and this is due to the vacant planner position, which has been vacant, I believe, since October. And then lastly, we have the mayor and the commission expenses are only 20% because the assistant to the commission position has been vacant for the majority of the year. Okay. This is a graph just really depicting everything that I just explained. Next, I'm going to go to the building fund. Right now, the building fund to date has collected 41% of projected revenue for a total of $359,000. Of the amount collected so far, 97% is primarily due to licenses and permits, and that makes up the bulk of their revenue. Building expenses are at $256,000, or 29%. So building revenues are over expenses by $102,000. Very good sign, and it will only get better with all of the action that Miguel and the building department are involved in. We'll see very, very, very good revenues for the building department. Next, we have their personnel expenses. Those are about 30%. Operating expenses are in at 30% also, and capital expenses are in at 3%. That is the $256,000 I explained earlier. Next, we have the sewer fund. So far, we've collected $701,000 of projected revenue. This represents 24%. Charges for services, or the direct user fees charged to consumers, is what represents the 98% of our collected revenue. Sewer expenses are 32%, or $926,000. Sewer revenues are less than expenditures by $225,000 at the moment. One important thing to note are the revenue collections we get from both sewer and stormwater are somewhat staggered. So we'll see in 2 or 3 months from now that those revenues get better, and it's because there's a 2 or 3 month delay of collecting it from the county. Next, we have the stormwater fund. We've collected $363,000 in revenue, the majority of which came from charges for services, which is similar to the sewer fund. The stormwater expenses come in at 8%, or $206,000. Stormwater revenues are over expenditures by $157,000, which is a good sign. This also is staggered by 2 months or so. So as the year goes on, we'll see this kind of flatten out and catch up, but certainly a good sign. And that concludes my presentation for the expenditure and revenue report. I'll take on any questions.
Any questions?
Roy, thank you.
All right, so next I will...
Wait, Roy. I like the way this was laid out. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Keep it up.
Didn't misspell a thing.
I'm a numbers guy.
Hold on. All right, you're done with the 9.1?
Yes.
Okay, we're in 9.2, APR funds update.
9.2, we have the ARPA funds update. First off, I'm going to read the little section in the corner that I have on my sheet. It says, during the July 12th, 2022 commission meeting, the commission approved using ARPA funds to purchase police vehicles. During the May 11th, 2022 commission meeting, the commission approved using ARPA funds to pay for police staff salaries not to exceed $175,000, including salaries and fringe benefits. On February 8th, 2023, the commission approved ARPA funds to be used for body-worn camera software, $25,000, and CSA funding, constituent service aids, for those who don't know, $220,000 for the first year, and the town will absorb the following years. So with that being said, the amount that we paid police personnel from July through August 2nd is $40,000. The amount that we paid from August 2nd to September 30th was $38,000. Let's just say $39,000. That total is $78,854 that was paid for police personnel. And keep in mind that we were to not exceed $125,000. Okay. The next thing. Good. Very good. The next thing we have on the list is the hazard pay for the 6 full-time employees in public services. This was a 1% pay. Well, this was a percentage pay based on them being available throughout COVID. That payout for those 6 employees was a total of $17,934. Another program that we have on here is the amnesty program. This is $4,036 and some change. Mm-hmm. The next few items that we have is what was approved on July 12th for the police vehicles. We purchased one Ford Interceptor, $39,000, one Ford Maverick, $21,000, 2 F-150s, 87,000. Ford Interceptor, 223. That was 5 in total. 2 more F-150s. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Graphic.
This is the design graphic. These are the design graphics that we paid for 7 vehicles to get outfitted with Town of Pembroke Park logos. That was a total of $399,041.85. The last thing that was approved at the last meeting here was the community service aid, $220,000. The next thing is the body camera software for $25,000. All of those expenses total $722,000. I'm sorry I did not include that on the list. I'll be more wholesome next time.
We know where you work.
All of those expenses tally up to $722,000. Noted we did receive $3.3 million, $3,380,261 to be exact. Once you back out the $722,000, the total amount we have remaining right now for ARPA is $2.6 million.
Perfect.
And this concludes my ARPA.
Exactly what I wanted to see.
I'll take on any questions.
No,
Any questions?
No.
Thank you. We're still going to meet. Just hasn't happened yet. We're still going to meet.
You know where I am.
I do. All right. 10, Human Resources, HR Director. Friedman. All right. Hold on. Let me... Give me just a second to click on it. Perfect. Okay. Go ahead. This will be policies for use of cell phones issued by town for personal and for personal cell phones.
Good evening, Mayor, Clerk Commissioner, and staff. Babette Friedman, Human Resources Director. At the previous workshop, we discussed about coming up with a policy for cell phone usage. So I'm bringing this up before you all. This is basically a policy explaining that we're unlocking the phones for the most part and allowing staff to use them to their full capability, minus we have to archive the text messages per Florida State Statute 119. So this just goes over the usage and how the phones will be monitored and the responsibility that it puts on the employees if they lose, damage, if they don't return the phone when they leave employment with the town. And one of the main things that I was spoken to about is the usage of TikTok. We are not to download TikTok on our town devices, and if you're going to use social media, it must be for town use only.
Must have missed that in here. Oh, there it is. Never mind. F. Got it.
Are there any questions?
Yeah, give me just a second. There was something I wanted to ask on here. Do you have any?
Not yet.
So, we're keeping Smarsh on all the phones, correct?
That's a requirement by state statute. Not that software.
Not that program, but Smarsh. Okay, never browsed. There's something I read I had a question about. Yes. Sorry, give me just a second. There was one thing I had a question of, and I don't remember where it was here. I have it in my notes, but not with me. So if I do have something, I'll pull it off the next meeting, or we'll address it in between time. Do you have any questions?
No, I'm good.
Okay, we'll just move to consent. 10.2, investigation procedures.
All right, for the record, Babette Friedman, Human Resources Director. Upon my arrival here at Town of Pembroke Park, there was a need for an investigations procedure, and per the mayor's request, I'm bringing forward a process that we will be following going forward on any investigations. I work with the town attorney's office on this procedure, and we've ironed out all the details. And so I'm just going to go over the basics. So for this procedure, this will protect employees from retaliation, intimidation, and any interference. This also will make sure that it's confidential what happens during these investigations until the investigation is complete. And also there's a part in here where if the complaint is made about the town attorney, town manager, human resources, or the commission, that an outside investigator will need to investigate those complaints. Also to note, if there is another complaint that may be at a nature that we may need outside counsel, we want to move forward with that as well. And just to go over kind of how the procedure will go, there's a complaint procedure, which basically requires all employees to fully cooperate in the investigation and answer any questions honestly and truthfully. If it is found that anyone lies or is malicious in any of their complaints, disciplinary action will occur. But during the complaint procedure, an employee is to come forward to human resources and schedule a meeting with myself, and I have 10 days to have that meeting. It will be a very impromptu meeting. I'll be taking notes, and after that meeting, depending on kind of what the complaint is, I will meet with the town manager and the town attorney to determine if an investigation is needed. If we decide to move forward with the investigation, investigations will not take more than 30 days unless there are multiple pieces to the investigation where we will let the parties know that we will need more than 30 days. At the end of the procedure, there'll be written notices going out to the complainant and to the commission and town manager regarding the results. And also this policy will give the town manager the ability to put an employee on administrative leave pending the investigation if needed.
All right, I remember what my question is because it applied to both. Were these reviewed by the attorney before presented? Because they were not indicated on here.
Oh, yes. I worked with the attorney's office on both.
All right, so when we have the section that says status, it's got you, JC, Marlon, approved on status by this date, this time. We need to have the attorney on there too, so we know that it went through them without just taking word for it. It needs to be documented that it went through. It's like we get here on this one, per se, investigations, status, it says none on.
Oh, yeah, he's talking about the routing down here.
Yeah, on the main, on the cover page.
Attorney was
Okay.
signed off on it, so yeah, it should be routed to them.
So, and
For the record, Mayor, we did review both policies.
both policy.
They are compliant.
Okay,
We had a few comments, but they're both legally compliant.
okay. Were the comments addressed?
Yes, 100%.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
No, I don't. Thank you.
I do not have any questions. Put this one on consent as well. All right, 11, IT Department, IT Director Pakula, upgrade to fiber for the police department.
Good evening, Mayor, Clerk Commissioner. Mark Pakula, IT Director. Basically, we're just upgrading the fiber for the police department. Time has come with our force up and running. Actually saving the town over the course of the contract about $8,000, and we actually get a better speed by upgrading it. So we'll save money, and we get a lot faster speed for our police department.
All right, so this changes it to a monthly fee of $549.11.
Yep. We were about $800 per for a 3-year contract.
Brings up to 500 versus what were we at?
We're about 800 budgeted. So
No, speed wise.
Oh, we're going from a 200
Oh, it says right
to
here. Never
500
mind.
meg.
Okay, I see it.
And we can always upgrade that even more as we grow, depending on the need.
How many megawatts of power do we have available?
We're doing fine.
Okay, we're getting there. All right. I have no questions. You have questions?
No, I don't. Thank you.
All right, go ahead and put this on consent as well.
One other thing while I'm up here, Marlon, I wanted to let the commission know we finished the business tax receipts website with the GIS, and it is up and running. If you go to our residents, over two, go down to GIS interactive maps. Just go down. There you go. We have a couple new maps up there. If you scroll down, all right, on the right, you'll see business browser. So this is real-time information. Go to accept. Accept, thank you. What you'll see here is commissioner districts. In there are all the types of businesses. In there, it's put in from our side and updated whenever it gets updated. Right now, I think it's been updated as of 2 weeks ago, which for what we've had in the past, this is the first time in about 20 years we've actually had this information. It's fully exportable to an Excel spreadsheet. So if anybody wants to make a public records, they don't have to. They can go right here and pull the information down themselves. You can see in the links, if you click on a link, it'll actually bring you to the state website where their businesses are registered, so you can see the real information from the county. Excuse me. No, Mom, you don't have to do that. You have to undo the filter. But when you undo the filter for the commission, you'll basically see all that information there real time. And as BTR updates it, it'll also be updated right there in real time.
So is this something that BTR is going to be updating?
Yes, in the back end, there's a panel that only BTR goes into. So when they have a change on that status for whatever reason, they can update it in system and updates in the map.
Okay.
In real time. So these numbers these information.
So their system is linked to this?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's when person answers it in, and however that person wants to do it, when they're there, weekly, monthly, however, whatever y'all decide, basically it'll be updated on the map.
Just making sure we don't fall 20 weeks, 20 days, or 20 years
On
behind.
the commission district, if you check that I on the commission district, it's unchecked. No, uncheck it, and then click on a link on one of these circles there where the business is. Just pick one. There, so that blue link, if you click on that blue link, that brings you right to Broward County, and that top one right there, that's the official with Broward County, whatever information they have supplied for their business is right there.
That's awesome.
So we're working on some different stuff for the GIS down the road, but these are things that I think will come useful for our residents. And
that makes it very convenient.
Yes, and like I said, you can pull it down all the different ways that you want. If you want every business, if you just want businesses for gas stations, if you want businesses.
You're just trying to take me off Sunbiz, aren't you?
There you go. So, and it's like I said, all exportable however you want to filter it.
Nice.
Any questions?
No, that's awesome.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Michael V. I don't see him. Nothing today. All right. 13. Police Department. Non-police Chief Howard. Not at all.
He wished he had your hair.
He wished he had hair.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Wednesday to everyone. Mayor Jacobs, Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins, town staff and employees and guests. My name is Roshana Dabney Donovan, and I am the major for the Town of Pembroke Park Police Department. Tonight, I don't want to rival the building official Nunez, but I will take a page out of his book. Along with his employees, I want to say that our personnel and our staff are also second to none. And they're out here working the streets, and they are doing a fabulous job, and I want to congratulate them and tell them thank you. So for the month of January, we responded to just under 1,000 calls for service. Most of those calls included 46 informational calls, 10 vehicle burglaries, 2 commercial burglaries, 3 rollover accidents, 6 accidents with injuries, and 18 regular accidents. We also responded to a total of 13 domestic violence calls, 1 stolen vehicle, which you will see we have recovered. We also had 1 stolen tag, 5 calls for vandalism, and 114 traffic stops. With those traffic stops, we issued 80 citations along with 12 warnings. We had 0 parking complaints, unfortunately, 5 larceny calls, 1 missing person, which we did recover, 69 alarm calls, 9 misdemeanor direct arrests, and 4 felony calls. We also wrote 122 incident reports. I would also like to acknowledge that we have a 42% reduction in crashes since we took over operations October 1st.
Do you know those numbers?
I don't know them off the top of my head, but I can have them for you for next meeting.
Our first month was 65. We're down to 30.
Hey,
That's awesome.
I say we're showing up and we're showing out, right?
Listen, when you guys, the presence alone, as everyone hears me say, officers' presence alone is a deterrent in crime. We don't have the street racers in the warehouses. It's a great thing.
Thank you.
And I will tell you, consistently, we were getting 500 calls a month in every report we were getting from BSO, which we now know that is very inconsistent with what's really going on in the town. So appreciate everything that you're doing in the police department, along with Chief Howard, who's absent today, with good reason. So you guys know where he's at. He's at a conference for accreditation right now with Joy. They're attending this to make sure that we get accredited as soon as possible. I think that's it. Do you have anything else for us?
I do not, unless either of you have any questions for me.
No, we just appreciate your fine work. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Please, our Public Services Department interim Public Services Director Nunez / Jimenez. You're a 2-for-1 here.
You got 2 for the price of 1, right?
You got it. Let's see how this turns out. 14.1 Broward.
Doing good, I guess.
All right.
We're trying. We're trying.
Both alive and you're both here, so that's a good sign. 14.1 Broward County interlocal agreement with solid waste.
To give you an idea, my name is Miguel Nunez. I'm the interim works director. Miguel Nunez, Mayor Jacobs, Clerk Commissioner Hutchins. This particular interlocal agreement, we already have that agreement with Broward County. This is just a renewal. And this renewal needs to be executed in order for the town to continue using, we call it We Liberator. It's the dump sites after July 2nd, 2023. It's not only the town that uses this, it's also waste management on behalf of the town. So this amendment or this extension will extend our interlocal agreement through July 2nd, 2018. Obviously, after it's signed by the by the town officials. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer them.
Do you have any questions?
No.
Not on that one. Let's move to 14.2 Broward County interlocal agreement renewal gas tax.
Excuse me, Mayor. The previous one.
Sorry, that's a consent.
Thank you. And this is.
I apologize.
No problem. Miguel Nunez, interim interim public works director with the town manager together. This is a renewal for the additional 3-cent local option gas tax that was levied in 1994 for a period of 30 years, which expired December 31st, 2023. And obviously, we need to have a renewal now until by signing this renewal, we have it by December 31st, 2030. This is the 3-cent gas levy tax and the 5th cent for the transit. So basically just cleaning house and continuing the services and the tax and the revenue to the town.
And staying at the exact same amount.
Exactly.
All right. Questions?
No.
Let's put that on consent. Oh, this one hurts.
Yes.
This one hurts
Sorry.
bad. So, know where you work. I'll track you down. 14.3 emergency sewer repair. 4320 Southwest 30th Street. Here we go.
Yes, Mayor Jacobs, Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins, Miguel Nunez, Interim Public Services Director, share with the town manager, J.C. Jimenez. I will never gonna stop saying that, sir. But this is a presentation. This money was allocated under the emergency funds and the emergency repairs for this. But as means of transparency, we bring it to you for approval, even though it's already done and paid. Just so you know, this was performed for the sewer line repair that we have at 30th Street. That was the last breakage that we have since the last couple of months. So we haven't had one so far. So hopefully we don't have any more. This is this is only for information only, and this is the amount of $35,464.50, and that's why I say ouch.
At least it wasn't 55,000 like last time.
Correct.
So I'm just tired of putting Band-Aids on that same pipe.
And I believe you're gonna see a presentation later, or you're gonna be talking with town manager Jimenez about the new improved 30th Street for gravity mains that we're gonna have in there. I will not take his glory. You finish.
You don't have to take his glory. I've learned more in the last 4 years about sewage systems, lift stations, plumbing than I ever wanted to know in my life. So,
yeah, but I'll leave.
Thanks to you too. Yeah, both of you, all three of you. I
will leave him to tell you about it, but
that's fine.
We're improving the system.
All right. Throw that on consent as well. 14.4, Public Works, salvage equipment.
Yes. This is Miguel Nunez, Interim Public Services Director, but just to let you know, this is a request in the consent, so that way we can salvage in approximately 20 pumps that are inoperable, they don't operate, they're not beyond the useful life, and they need to be disposed. So therefore, I'm recommended that the following equipment be declared salvage and disposed of. In your package, you will see photos of what I'm talking about. They are right now occupying space in our warehouse, so that way we can clean it and we can bring new pumps and new equipment. The idea is to have one spare pump per lift station. That way, if something goes damaged, we fix it and while we fix or refurbish the pumps. So, but this one is already past the useful life. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer them.
I do have questions. On this here. Making sure I'm plugged in. So we're going to dispose of 20 of these. Are they recyclable where we can sell them for scrap?
We can sell it for scrap. That's why part of the surplus, scrap, metal, or things like that. Even though they are in there, but they're not operate.
Yeah, I know they're not operational.
Fix it and
yep. All right, let's try and sell those for scrap and see what we can get in return for what waste, and then they get recycled and used. It could be, but you know what? Penny's better than nothing. So, and those things are heavy.
There is a lot of weight there.
It's a lot of weight, and if you consider that the last pump that we refurbished, it was in the neighborhood of $900, when actually a brand new pump was $1,200.
Yeah.
And on the initiative of our department, I'm replacing all the pumps for interior pumps to weatherproof pumps. That way, they last longer.
Perfect. All right. So yeah, let's put that on consent and just recommend recycling, or not recycling, but scrapping out the metal. It may not bring much, but it's better than nothing.
I do agree that.
All right, so this still involves Public Works and the couple over here in Public Works.
Okay.
See, it's not me that says JC and I when it comes down to things. So you want to come on up and we'll have some discussion with you over these 4 projects as well. We're moving on to 14.5. These also hurt for the next 4, so I'll just say ugh now. But go ahead.
I am Dan Schonk with Craig A. Smith Associates. Good evening, Mayor Jacobs and Staff. We were contracted to do the sanitary sewer master plan.
Before we start, this is lift station 3, 4, and 5. So we'll start with that
The
one.
INI, yeah.
Yeah, the INI.
Yeah, I just give them a.
Okay.
And then from that, we were advised by the town to help them with the gathering of data for the CIP. And in that assessment, we took 5 projects for the town, 4 of which Craig A. Smith will do, and the 5th is contracted to Friedman Associates.
All right.
The first project I want to go over is the INI project. The INI project is to eliminate infiltration and inflow into the system for lift stations 3, 4, and 5. This, we have noticed a substantial problem with lift station 3, in that it's collecting an immense amount of INI, thus causing the lift station to run nearly 24 hours a day during wet weather periods. To put this in perspective, 20-gallon per minute leak can lead to almost $25,000 a year in additional treatment fees. So we've identified this as a project that needs to be done this year, and that's why it was put on the capital improvement plan for this year. We've prepared a proposal for the town to go forward with starting this project and getting it shovel ready. And I have presented it to the mayor in the meeting today, and he presented to the town.
I can keep this for you on this one. Ready?
Okay.
All right. Hodgkins, if you weren't aware, our entire sewer system in the town is more antiquated than the town itself. Lift station 3, 4, and 5. 4 and 5 are leaking into 3. Is that correct? Or they're flowing into?
5 feed to lift station 3.
There we go. 4 and 5 lead to 3. So for us to get grant and financial money, we have to have shovel-ready projects. So this one here is a cost of $39,500 to do everything it takes to make it a shovel-ready project. The estimated overall repair of the lift stations and the problem with lift stations 3, 4, and 5 is estimated around $508,000. So unfortunately, our systems were neglected for decades, and it put us in the position we're in. So for us to get hopefully help get some financial assistance through infrastructure funds of the $508,000, we have to spend the $39,500. And while I got you here, nope, yep, nope, not you. Come on up, need the money man real quick. A little Monopoly hat, we'd make this more fun. I wear the overall, so we can make this work. What do we have currently in our sewer fund?
In the sewer fund, I left the paper on my desk, but in the
Rough estimate.
Rough estimate, we have about $6 million.
About $6 million. So we need to spend approximately $40,000, $39,500 out of our $6 million sewer fund, so we could prepare for a project and possibly get grant money to help repair that project at a cost of $500,000 for those 3 lift stations. So I'm going to say throw that one on consent, if you're all right with that.
That's fine.
All right, the next one, if you don't mind, I'll help you go real quick on this. Same thing for lift station number 19. Lift station number 19.
Lift station 19 is the Coca-Cola lift station?
Yes. Okay, I'm going to have you explain the situation with the Coca-Cola station.
Yeah.
And why it needs the extra little bit to it.
Coca-Cola lift station needs extra attention in that it receives a lot of flow from Coca-Cola.
For some reason, I can't hear you.
It receives a lot of flow from
Okay, there we go.
Coca-Cola, and this flow is very acidic. Therefore, it's eating through the pumps and the actual wet well itself. And the pumps usually have a lifespan in the pump lift station have lifespans of nearly 20 years. We're seeing like a 5-year return on these pumps due to this acidity just eating away at the pumps.
Do you know if there's any requirement of them to treat that stuff before it gets to that point?
I believe there is an extra fee. I've heard through the grapevine, through doing the study, that they pay. We'll have to look into that to see.
They gotta plan to change this system out with another system where the acidic, it's a stainless steel system, so we don't have the problems that we're continuing to have, because the overall, so the, I maybe have that
all
backwards.
the components inside the wet well
There we go.
will be switched out with stainless steel components, therefore bumping that lifespan out to a 20-year cycle again.
But my question was, is there a way to treat that waste before it gets to that point?
Other than diluting it with water,
No way to do it.
no way to really do it. I mean, we could look into that as an option during the design. We can look into that during the design process.
Throw a box of baking soda down.
Yeah.
What's the problem?
Yeah.
So,
During this one, just so we can get the numbers here on this one, the cost to get it shovel ready is $184,290. The project itself is 1.268 million. I'll just keep it at that and some change. That's the estimated cost of repair. But the study to get it up to date and prepared, to get it shovel ready so we can get grant funding for it again, is $184,290. Now, I want to explain to you one of the major problems we have here in the town is that there are many, many projects that were started and never completed. They got through this and just kind of fell apart, and no one ever followed through. You've heard me say it. There was always good ideas and no follow through here in town. So we had lots of those. This right here gets it to where our grant writers and our lobbyists that are here tonight bring it to the next level so we could try to get some funding to assist with these repairs. But these are major, major repairs. I believe you were here during the lift station presentation like a year and a half ago. Okay, so that kind of sums up where we're at. But they have a solution to do this with stainless to make it work. Again, it's $184,290 to make it shovel ready. I'm going with staff with the recommendation of going forward with this one as well, and using our $6 million out of our sewer fund.
I'm fine with it.
All right, we'll put that on consent. These ones will go pretty painless because I know these ones pretty well. Lift station 14. Lift station 14 is located.
It's the one right there by the peninsula.
Yep, next to the peninsula. It's right across from Dale Village. I can tell you, as of recently of 3 weeks ago, it was 3 weeks ago, the pumps again went out over there. I had residents and their maintenance guy calling me asking to get it taken care of. Immediately, our Public Works Department was on it. They took care of it. Now the pumps are no longer squealing, but this lift station is one of those critical lift stations again because it's for the senior center right there at Peninsula. It's also for Town Hall. It's also, if you follow the water line, it's all at Dale Village as well. So, yeah, this one here actually,
this one,
I have
believe,
two of the same. I don't have the
original plan 20 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. So the cost on this one,
Even the plant has rotted away.
right?
Yes.
I need from you.
14.
So
the cost, sir?
Wait, hold on.
go through the cost.
Wait a second. I got 14. I got a couple 14s over here. So I think you gave me the wrong one.
While you're going through that, I'll go through the summary on it.
Hold on, wait. I just need. Oh, here it is, right here. So the cost on that one is 167,600 and sorry, 160,000. Well, deep breath. Hold on. Here we go. I get it. $167,790. I'm not laughing because it's a lot of money. So, but the total cost, estimated cost of repair of that lift station is 1.155 mil. Plans 167,000. Again, they recommend going forward with it. Again, 6 million in the count. I also recommend going forward with it. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's a lot of money, but I think we need to make those type of investments in the town that will end up paying 3 times that.
All right. Consent as well. And here is the infamous Lift Station 17. I'm going to give you my spiel because I just spent a week up in Tallahassee talking to absolutely everybody over this lift station. Anyone who would listen and people who didn't want to listen, right? I literally, and I stood on the Capitol steps with the sign, embarrassed the town manager, but you know what? It took about 10 seconds and it worked. So we ended up meeting the director, federal or state director of emergency management, who oversees our funds, and it was a little embarrassing for the town manager that I was successful with my big ugly green neon sign, and it worked. If you haven't seen it, it's on Facebook. It's great. So Lift Station 17 oversees Watkins Elementary. This thing was band-aided to death before me and Ray were even appointed to the commission. The town ran out of band-aids before we were appointed or elected. We're using 2-part epoxy, duct tape, Bondo, and bubble gum to keep it together right now. The biggest problem with this, if this goes down, we lose an entire elementary school in the town. So they are doing everything to keep this thing going at all cost. So we submitted to the state legislator to put in $355,000, approximately somewhere in that range, to offset the cost of $1.775 million. To go through all of this, to get it all set up, this is a major lift station for the town, is a cost of $270,290 to get this approved, to start the process to make it shovel ready. I did speak with our legislator, our grant writer, and you as well, over the cost of that $350,000 roughly that we are going to put with it. This will offset the cost of that. So anything more, it will just be on top of that. I talked to 24 legislators. Is that what the number was? 23 meetings over this lift station and our telemetry program. 23 meetings to try to get assistance with this, and even held up a big ugly green sign. So double-sided, by the way. So staff again recommends this of the $270,290 for the study, and a total replacement estimated cost of $1.775 million, which is a extremely large chunk of money. I as well recommend we go forward with it.
No, I think we need to.
All right. Consent as well. That made it easy on you, didn't it? Yeah. See, I knew a lot of details about things I did not want to know about. All right. I just so everyone knows, we did have a meeting earlier today. We went over this stuff in detail, so it made it easier for the commission meeting to try to make it go a little bit quicker than we normally could here.
You were the bad news bearer, buddy.
Yeah, you weren't my favorite today, but you know, we always have fun. Thank you very much for your presentation. I appreciate it.
And Mayor, just so we can clarify in case anybody has any questions, I believe this all falls within our procurement policy and by state statutes.
I was going to say that, yes.
By state statutes, DCNA, I believe it falls within the thresholds. I do have to double check, and if there's any issues, I'll speak.
Just confirm and make sure that is before we go forward.
I believe we're okay.
All right, and I'm going to take a point of privilege because for some reason it wasn't on here. David Sigerson, would you like to come up and speak? I know you prepared something, but I didn't see you on the agenda, so.
Good evening, Mayor, Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins. Actually, I wrote it for you.
I know you did, but I'm going to let you do it. So
now I'm going to have to change it back to third person.
We call this the hot seat. You're in it.
David Sigerson, consultant for the town, here along with D. Carper. the grant writer, who accompanied us last week in a very important and successful legislative visit. Last week, JC and the mayor traveled to Tallahassee for what I consider to be one of the most successful trips ever. Set a record in 2.5 days of setting meetings. I had to go back through years of records, and I couldn't find a trip to Tallahassee where we had 23 different meets and meetings throughout a short period of time. As I said, 23 meetings, 18 sit-downs with full presentation, and the mayor would tell you that a full presentation meant that the mayor would discuss our LBRs, which are legislative budget requests. He would discuss the successful launch of the police department. He discussed the ramping up of the community garden to a community farm, and what else did we talk about? We talked about a couple of pieces of legislation, the sovereign immunity bill, which would raise the sovereign immunity limit to $2.5 million, $3 million per occurrence, $2.5 million per incident, individual, $3 million per incident, right? So, and the other thing that we brought up was it's a very important issue to this town, to South Florida in particular, South Broward in particular, where there are a lot of septic tanks. Septic to sewer conversions is a major policy initiative of the state of Florida, starting, 4 or 5 years ago? But the program is controlled through the what is called the BMAP, and that stands for Basin Management Accessible Plan, or something like that. And what it applies to are the springs and some of the major watershed basins in the state that have had major problems, like the Indian River Lagoon, as an example. They've also had big problems on the West Coast. So what we heard earlier in the committee weeks is talk about expanding the BMAP program so that it would apply to areas that are not currently BMAP, like Pembroke Park, like almost anywhere in Broward County. Nowhere, I don't think anywhere in South Florida is BMAP.
Mm.
When they started handing out, they created a bag of money, a grant program, and it had $100 million, I think, in it, something like that, or more. Southeast Florida saw not dime one from those grants for septic to sewer. So Lauren Book, who is the minority leader in the Senate, excuse me, and Hillary Cassell, who is newly elected representative, who sits on the House the House Agriculture and Natural Resources Appropriations Subcommittee, which is the committee that handles water projects and the BMAP program and so forth. They both raised the issue of expanding BMAP to include areas like Southeast Florida, like Broward, so that we can apply to this grant bag of money to do some of our septic to sewer conversions. So that's what it was involved in a full presentation. So 18 sit-downs with full presentations, 5 additional informal meetings with brief discussions about the good things that are happening in the town of Pembroke Park. Our meetings were bipartisan. We met with both Democrats and Republicans. Most importantly, the mayor was able to present the budget requests to Mayor and JC to 3 of the most important persons in the budget process. The 2 chairs of each of the House and Senate water committees, if you will, the Ag and Natural Resource Appropriations subcommittees, and then the mayor went and got to meet with the governor's director of policy and budget, OPB. He was able to present our legislative programs to the guy who, when the budget is passed by the legislature, sits up in a 17th floor office and decides what lives and what dies, what gets vetoed, what doesn't. So that was an extraordinarily important meeting to have had. And of course, we all met with Senator Pizzo and Representative Woodson, who are our House and Senate legislators. They represent this area, and they are our sponsors for our LBRs. In addition, we met with an additional 10 members of the Broward Legislative Delegation, including its chair, Pat Williams, Representative Pat Williams, and Senator Book, as I mentioned, to discuss our LBRs and the town's successful launch of the police department and the community farm, which was, when I say universally well received, that's really, I wrote that, that's what I wrote, but that's not really, it was really much more enthusiastic than that. Most of the members to whom the mayor was explaining the community policing platform and the police department launch and so forth were amazed, delighted, supportive, and I don't know how else to describe it. Mayor, maybe you want to say something.
I'll describe it.
You were the ones that did it. You were the one that did it.
People listened. People listened to Pembroke Park for the first time in decades. We had the most positive response out of these legislators. One, explaining community policing, explaining our new police department, how it was built, how it functions, and how happy the community is with what we have so far. They are thrilled about the police department. Most cities have, community gardens. I told them how I took it a step further. We also have one legislator who is also into bees, and so we got to meet with her staff as well and discuss what we're doing with the farm and the chickens and the, farmers market. It was so well received by every individual. I think we ended up with more time than we were allotted with most of the representatives that we gave. I gave presentations to. They were very interested in listening. In fact, we had one representative that we spent almost an hour with, approximately, discussing law enforcement, policing, types of policing, how 70s and 80s tactics were done versus nowadays, the demographics of our town and how our police department's a direct reflection of the community. That was so big across the board with all these legislators. They loved it. So it was not for the faint of heart. I was up from 6 in the morning till 10, 11 at night, I think. JC went back on Wednesday night. Wednesday night, and the three of us were back at it, and Connie were back at it on Thursday. I didn't get home till Friday morning at 4 a.m. So it was the extremely long hours, but I think we accomplished our mission. And hopefully when they go through the red lines, Pembroke Park does not make that list. So I tried to pull all the red pens off their desks, so we'll see. But I just want to say they were happy to hear from a town that they really don't know about. And as small as we are, they were thrilled about everything we were doing. And we got compliments left and right, from both sides of the aisle, not just one. Republicans and Dems alike. Of course, up here, it doesn't matter to us what parties are. But up there, it seems to. We had positive from both sides. It was refreshing to hear, people supporting, because you guys remember me building the department. There was no support for us. We were on our own, and we charted a course and we made it happen. But now to hear all them supporting what we're doing down here now, we're on the map again. And so rebranding this town is the biggest thing that we need to continue doing as a positive up and coming community. Also, I got another plug in while we were there, all the new construction that we have going on, the economic development study that's coming. Our senator and representative are interested in that as well. We got those in those discussions. Everyone just absolutely loved to hear from us and made the time. We ran into another commissioner just in passing who we ended up with a meeting in her office. She wanted to meet with us. So it was great. I was thrilled about it. So.
Yep, that sums it up. I mean, we ended up meeting 12 of the 15 Broward Legislative Delegation members, and the mayor got a chance to tell the town story. And so there are now the 12 out of the 15 members of the Broward delegation. Now
Pembroke Park has a fan club.
Now have a positive view of the town, and of course, that's always a good thing, because this is where we live, and these are the legislators who are the ones that will pay attention to what happens in Pembroke Park, good or bad. So we want to make sure they came away with a good impression of what's going on in the town, and that was accomplished. That was one of the goals I had set for this trip. And then finally, one last note. One of the other goals, we met with Allison Payne, who works for the Florida League of Cities, and Mayor and JC got a chance to tell her about the things that were going on in the town, and in turn, she briefed all of us on the League's priority legislative issues, some of which are incorporated already into your legislative program. But by meeting with her, and we spent a lot of time with her, by meeting with her, we wanted to demonstrate that the town is part of the team, part of the municipal team, fighting on behalf of all Florida cities, because, and I'm working on a more comprehensive list of bills that I'm watching, and when you see that list, you will see a lot of legislation that is not good for municipalities. And so that is the purpose, I think the main purpose of the League right now, or one of their main purposes, is to band together and to fight against all of this really bad legislation. And I think we demonstrated that Pembroke Park wants to be a team player, is a team player.
I think so too.
I think that's, unless there's questions.
Questions?
No, I think it's great that you and the mayor accomplished what you did.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping we get the recognition we deserve.
And JC, he was there.
And JC, yeah.
He took pictures. He wouldn't hold the sign. All right, so
I took a picture.
I'm going to, this is discussion, but I'm thrilled to actually present this. The Resilient Florida program, oh man, I just lost it. My computer died on me. Hey, there it is. Okay. So Resilient Florida Program Planning Grant Award, fiscal year 2022 23. Can you go down to item number 19, please? This is how many times I've looked at it. Item number 19 says the town of Pembroke Park, $200,000. That was on Monday. You want to talk about some excitement? We got money for the town on our first day up there of $200,000. And I can't read what it says. It says citywide vulnerability assessment. So 200 grand to help out. That's, I can't tell you how happy I am. And that started off our process up in Tallahassee. So I got more, but I'll wait till my comments here. So town clerk, any comments?
We have our election coming up March 14th. We have advertised in the newspaper as required by our code of ordinance, and that's all I have for now.
All right, town attorney.
Thank you, Mayor, Clerk, Commissioner. You heard from Mr. Nunez, Ms. Ramirez, Ms. Friedman. Your professional staff is keeping us very busy, as you can imagine. If there's any questions about any item we're working on, I'm certainly happy to brief you individually, but I don't have anything specific to report this evening. Thank you.
I've probably got a list for us when we meet. Town manager comments.
As mentioned earlier, the fire fee, the creation of the fire fee is in progress. I'm happy to say that we got the data from BSO, submitted it to the consultant. We're putting that together. So they do want to meet at the end of March with each commissioner individually, talk to them, to talk to you guys about the methodology, just to kind of explain a little bit better. And then once they meet with you guys, then come before the commission so you guys can approve it.
Perfect.
I'll be setting that up with each of you. In addition, at the last meeting I mentioned that the sewer force main project on Southwest 30th, I'm exploring the possibility of changing it into a gravity main project because I think it's going to be better for our system overall as we remove some of the privately owned lift stations along that stretch of Hallandale Beach Boulevard. I don't have a revised proposal yet from Keith and Associates, and that's what I'm waiting for. If not, it would have been on this for discussion. And that's all I have, sir.
All right. Commissioner comments. Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins.
No, I don't have anything.
All right. And Ray's not here, so it's my turn. I'd like to take a moment to recognize a special guest. We have Dee Carper with us today, in person, live, not a voice over the phone for a change. So, would you like to say anything while you're here? You sure? She's the one who does all the grants for the town that makes sure the money comes into the town. And she's gone above and beyond helping clean up the grants of the past, and so we can move forward. We still have a great deal of outstanding grants that the whole town is working on in every single department, trying to get them cleaned up and processed and out the door so we don't have to see them ever again, right? Yeah, look, everyone's nodding their head. So, also, I got a chance while we were up there. Our state representative, Marie Woodson, has been our representative for 2 years. I got a chance to do something for her and for a change because she's always doing so much for us. In return, I got to support her House Bill 101, which added the homestead exemption to first responders, federal first responders, because it was restricted to people within the state of Florida. So this expands it onto federal officers so they get the homestead exemption for their spouse or significant other upon loss of life in the line of duty. I got to support my representative for a change, which is kind of a role reversal. And that was nice. And she was very, very happy to have the support up there. That was good. Couple things, as you have all heard me say, I hate the nasty letters. We did get another nasty letter in the mail. This results with our audit from last year. JC had letters and everything in process to make sure it's taken care of. I'm sure they just crossed paths in the mail, but I talked to the town manager today, and he spoke with the finance director, making sure that's totally taken care of, right?
That's correct.
See, there we go. That's how it gets done. And then another thing that came up, we were 22 years, as you were aware, 22 years non-compliant for our stormwater and our sewer. On the previous administration, left everything. We were non-compliant on getting those forward. Fortunately, we found we were also non-compliant on another major issue here in the town. We are 30 years non-compliant on our preserve. Where information has gone back and forth between the state and the town. I believe it was 05 and 17. I don't have my notes with me. It was like 2 dates like that, wasn't it, JC?
Yes.
05 and 2017, the state did receive some information from us, but we're 30 years non-compliant. They needed annual reports from us on where we were at. We were given a lump sum of money to create the preserve out in the park, and there were certain things and requirements that we were supposed to put in place. So JC and me had a very embarrassing conversation yesterday with what was it? Yes, Florida Communities Trust. Thank you. I don't have my notes. I forgot my notepad.
And the Land and Water Conservation.
And the Land and Water Conservation people. I hate being embarrassed, and when we find something that is 30 years non-compliant for this town, that fell upon the commission to make sure that was taken care of, which they did not. It also fell upon the previous town staff that was here, to the directors, department heads that are no longer here as well. Obviously, there's reasons for that, but we were 30 years non-compliant, and that is just embarrassing. So I had to put my integrity, my reputation on the line, and I told them we would do everything possible to be as compliant as quickly as we could. Today, we had our grant writer, our engineer, JC. We went out and went through everything and took pictures of all the stuff that we need to. We're going to send them an update on compliance. We may get our skate park back. It is a possibility after meeting with them and having the discussion. But I went up early to meet with them on Monday. Unfortunately, they were unavailable on Monday, or last Monday when I was in Tallahassee. But we did meet with them and did a Teams meeting with them yesterday. It's embarrassing to me to get these letters that were not in compliance, and they're old, 30 years. I mean, I'm 47, so I was 17 years old when that started. So yeah, it's all point my finger because I'm sure everybody that was up here before is pointing their finger at me right now. I'm the one cleaning it up and fixing the problems of the past. So this one is another major black eye I personally feel for the town, but we're making it work. JC is more than supportive of making this work, aren't you, JC?
Making the
Getting compliance.
oh yes, absolutely.
See, absolutely. Well, you know, I got to mention the sign real quick because, you know, I'm not the normal status quo type mayor here. So my wife and my kids made a sign. It says the town of Pembroke Park needs infrastructure funds on one side of the sign. The other side says anything helps Mayor Jacobs. So JC, you know what? I wasn't far from it. JC would have died if I would have gave him a cup to hold up there. So he was embarrassed as we were walking over. He goes, "I don't believe you're going to do this." And I'm like, "Listen, it gets the attention we need to our town." And JC's like just all embarrassed. I said, "I should have you hold the sign and get some random person to take pictures of us." And while we were there doing it, there just happened to be a group of individuals standing down there, and then a woman kind of standing at the bottom of the stairs. And JC's taking pictures, and he's red as he is right now. And I'm holding the sign, and she says, "How much money do you need?" So I explained to her the lift station, our 1.7 million. We're putting up 350,000. This is where we're at. And I said, we have this other project. I explained the telemetry project. She goes, "Do you know who that guy is right there?" And I said, "I have no idea." And so he's the director of emergency management. He's the one that oversees the funds. So long story short, it took maybe 10 seconds. We exchanged cards. We had a great conversation. And JC was like, he couldn't believe that happened from that random little meeting. Said it takes, you know, someone ready to do something that no one else is doing to make that change. And I did it. Didn't embarrass me any. I got the pictures posted on Facebook. And to top it off, my state senator, he took pictures with the sign as well because he thought it was pretty awesome. So it worked. So again, you got to do the random things that no one else will do to show some leadership and make this town go forward. So we're fixing all those issues. This is another one we got to address. So I'm done with that. I have no more comments. I'm sure everyone's ready to go already. So I'll go with announcements. We got a food distribution Saturday, March 4th at 2023 from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. I'm checking those. Regular commission meeting will be Wednesday, March 8th, 2023 at 7 p.m. The Town of Pembroke Park election is Tuesday, March 14th, 2023. We have a special magistrate hearing Wednesday, March 15, 2023 at 9 a.m. We have a workshop commission meeting Wednesday, March 22nd, 2023 at 7 p.m. There is a food drive flyer out. I believe the chief brought you some flyers to take around.
They're all gone. I need more.
Okay, we will get you more. Can you print them up some more? We have flyers going out everywhere. Also want to mention the community farm is open every Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. If you want to come help and get some crops. Eggs are starting to come in, and I think I'll start building a little food and vegetable cart here real soon for us. So,
On the food drive,
yeah, I mentioned it. It's
on that flyer,
what's that?
I was getting comments about the flyer that because it had the code you had to scan in order to fill out the form, and
What form?
elderly people did
What form?
on the food drive flyer. You have to scan the thing to fill out the form.
There,
Name and address and
with these food drives, you don't have to fill out any flyer.
the second one down, I believe it is.
I realize, but these are this food distribution is not farm share. This is with Feeding South Florida, so no flyer is required. So they don't have to fill out a form for it. Anybody comes through.
Because people were confused what that was on there for, I think.
That's on there. I have no idea. I haven't scanned it, and nor have I seen it. So
That just says for additional information. You can scan it.
No, it actually had a thing on there where you had to fill out a form, put your name, your address, your age, or your date of birth, I mean.
has anyone scanned it?
Maybe this one.
Can someone scan that real quick and see what it brings up?
I was involved in a number of Rhonda was. Organizations like Feeding South Florida have to keep records
not for these. That was only during COVID. We had to keep record of everybody going through. So that ended when COVID ended because we were getting reimbursement for all of it. So
Right, but they get like grants and donations from corporations and so forth who wanna know.
they have not had us keep track since, yep. We've done multiple food drives since.
Everybody has a slip even now.
During COVID, we had forms that you had to fill out, and that ended last year sometime. So we haven't had to do the forms for about a year. What's it bring up?
It does bring up client intake.
Okay.
You have to fill that out.
And people are confused because a lot of them didn't
Yep.
know how to even do the app, get the app.
We got people who don't have technology or internet in the staff. So that leads to a lot of problems around here. So we haven't had to collect forms in about a year since the COVID. So the only ones we had to do was farm share that we were keeping, and during COVID because we were getting reimbursed for all the food drives. So might have changed again but no one made me aware of it. So interesting. JC, you know anything on it?
No, I don't know why they have that on this.
Yeah, this is a different form than we've seen in the past.
For you to fill it out to have to go through?
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I guess it's just collecting information, some data.
It could be.
How many people are using?
I'm gonna go with that because I don't see anything that says it's required on there.
No, I do not believe it's required.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Nope. Everyone's favorite time? Time is now 7:46. Adjournment.
Hold on a second.